What no one knew. Shocking new details about Jamie and Dakota's secret love. Their on-screen chemistry that surprised the world. A phenomenon is born. In 2015, 50 Shades of Grey was released and immediately became a global phenomenon. The film not only caused controversy because of its bold sex scenes but also because of the intense attraction between the two main actors, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson. From movie premieres, talk shows, to fashion magazines, they created a cinematic chemistry that few couples could match. Audiences not only believed that Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele loved each other, but also believed that Jamie and Dakota did too. But what few people know, it was the professionalism, the extremely delicate psychological preparation and the trust between the two that made that fictional love so real that it was almost impossible to distinguish between acting and real emotions. The art of intimacy. In the film industry, intimate coordination is the most sensitive stage. 50 Shades of Grey pioneered the art of building a rhythm of mutual trust between two actors, long before the current team of experts appeared. Dakota recalled in an interview with Vanity Fair, "We talked for hours about boundaries, safety and the psychology of the characters. Without absolute trust, the scenes would never feel real." Jamie, a former Calvin Klein model, brought confidence, while Dakota, who comes from a family of artists, had a deep understanding of emotional acting. The two turned intimate scenes into a sophisticated cinematic language, not just a sex scene. The result? Audiences believed them, sometimes more than expected. When fiction overwhelms reality. The audience response was so strong that the world press could not ignore it. From E! News, People, Grazia, The Daily Mail, hundreds of articles asked the same question. Jamie and Dakota, are they really just co-stars? The truth is much simpler. They are two professional actors, forced to live the emotions of their characters for years. 3 consecutive films saw them spend hundreds of hours together, in the studio, at script readings and on closed sets. A critic for The Hollywood Reporter commented, "The so-called secret love isn't real life, it's character. They've lived so long in Christian and Anna's world that viewers think they're actually in love." The price of chemistry. On-screen chemistry can be a blessing, or a burden. Jamie once admitted that he struggles to separate himself from the character of Christian when he gets home. "I am not him. I have a family, 3 kids, and a completely different real life." Meanwhile, Dakota admitted that she was psychologically affected after filming the first season. "You live in a world of power, control, and vulnerable emotions. When you're away from the camera, you have to find yourself again, and that's not easy." They both learned a big lesson. Acting out emotions so well can sometimes make audiences forget that it's all just acting. Media obsession. From 2015 to 2020, there was hardly an event where their names weren't mentioned together. A glance on the red carpet was enough for the press to call it secret feelings. An unconscious touch of the hand became proof of love. The truth is, they always knew the audience was watching, and used it to promote the story. A Universal PR expert recalls, Dakota and Jamie had never acted in real life, but they understood that chemistry was the product, and they sold it. In other words, they created a legend without lying, just without outright denying it. Respect over romance. In many interviews, the two often talk about respect, rather than affection. Dakota once shared with Elle, "Jamie is kind, funny, and very thoughtful. I couldn't ask for a better co-star." And Jamie, in GQ, was candid. "Dakota and I have never had a romantic moment in real life. But we trust each other more than anyone else." The thing is, they don't have to love each other to make the audience believe. They respect each other as teammates, and that makes their chemistry as real as possible. A silent bond. Although the series ended in 2018, many people noticed that they still have an invisible bond. They don't see each other often, but every time they appear together, at events, or when asked about each other, their eyes light up. Jamie once said, "When you spend 3 years doing the most difficult scenes of your life with someone, you have a bond that will last forever. There is no definition." Dakota was more gentle. "We have a different kind of friendship. It doesn't need to be understood, it just needs to be respected." That's exactly what audiences felt. A deep bond, but not romantic love. How fans build a legend. The internet has turned it all into a legend. Fans have edited thousands of Jamie-Dakota moments, videos, with romantic music and the phrase, "true love behind the camera." On TikTok, the hashtag #Dornson, a portmanteau of Dornan and Johnson, has more than 200 million views. There's a Reddit forum dedicated to analyzing their every move. But Jamie herself once laughed and said, "If they knew we were talking about who forgot to bring coffee that day, they would be so disappointed." The secret love that fans believe in turns out to be largely a collective delusion, born of the power of plot and perfect portrayal. The psychology behind believe in them. Media psychologists point to the Jamie-Dakota phenomenon as a prime example of parasocial projection, when audiences project their true feelings onto a fictional character and then onto an actor. New York University film professor Allison Rowe analyzes. The chemistry between them is so natural that viewers can't separate the character from the actor. The brain believes that if they love each other on screen like that, then there must be something similar in real life. This explains why, despite repeated denials from both sides, the rumor has persisted for a decade. Inside the acting industry, acting so real it hurts. A little-known fact, Jamie and Dakota both use the emotional recall method, recalling personal emotions to act. When filming intimate scenes, they have to recall real memories of love, loneliness, or fear of being hurt. That makes the audience feel like they are really in love. But because of that, they often feel exhausted after each scene. An assistant director revealed. After intense scenes, they don't talk for hours, they just sit still. Not because they are angry, but because they are avoiding emotions. That's the price of authentic acting. The audience gets to witness a perfect love story, while the actors spend hours searching for their own. Time, distance and maturity. Now, after leaving 50 Shades, they both say they're proud of that journey, even though it was rife with misunderstandings. Jamie shared on the podcast Happy Sad Confused. "Without Dakota, I couldn't have done that movie. She's the best co-star." Dakota shared with Vanity Fair. "We grew up together. We both had to learn how to balance reality and fantasy. I think that's why we still respect each other to this day. There's no such thing as a secret love. The truth of art is that sometimes, two people can connect on the deepest level without falling in love." Their legacy. Years later, when audiences talk about 50 Shades of Grey, they're not just talking about the film. They're talking about the Dornan-Johnson phenomenon, a testament to the power of emotional acting and trust between two people. As one British director put it, Jamie and Dakota set a new standard for authenticity in cinematic love. They made the world believe, and that's art. In the history of Hollywood, only a handful of couples have achieved the same thing, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, or Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Jamie and Dakota are now on that list. What no one knows, the real secret. What no one knew, until they spoke out, was that their friendship was stronger than the rumors. Dakota once said, "We talk less now, but we always wish each other well. He's someone I can count on, even on the other side of the world." Jamie once gave Dakota a bouquet of flowers on the day she directed her first film, with the message, "To the bravest partner I've ever had, keep breaking more boundaries." There was no confession. There was no secret love. Just deep gratitude, an emotion that goes beyond the title co-star. The truth that shocked everyone. And that was the truth that shocked the public. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson were never in love, but they made millions believe they were, because their friendship and trust were so genuine. They didn't need to leave the set to create a scandal. They did what all great artists do: stay true to the emotions of their characters, until the world questioned the boundaries between film and reality. Afterward, the power of illusion. 10 years later, the question, what are Jamie and Dakota to each other, has never really gone away. And perhaps they don't want it to go away. Because in art, the unanswered questions are the ones that last the longest. People trust us, Jamie once said, and that's probably the greatest compliment an actor can receive. Dakota smiled. If people feel something is real, then we've done our job. The final truth. There was no secret love affair. There were no shocking behind-the-scenes secrets. There is only one simple but powerful truth. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson have proven that art can make the world believe in love, even if it only exists in the lens.